there are 3 or 4 guys there in that side that have been there from day one. And that is, as I'm going to name them, Shankar Basu. I think he's been there from 2009 or 10, I think. 9, I reckon. There's Mane Kaka, Mane Kaka was the masseur of the Indian cricket team and then was with RCB. There's uh, Evan Speechley, the physio. Used to be the South African cricket team's physio, and then has been with the team from inception. So these guys are guys who've been through everything exactly like Virat Kohli has been through, right?
And
So
and it has been chaotic. Let's be honest. Like the VJ Malia period was completely nuts, and at one stage he wasn't even in the country. Right, like that creates conflict. It creates problems. The way that the auctions went about. There was that one year when Corey Anderson was the death bowler, like, just absolutely kind of randomness. Diageo take over, and it was a mess of a franchise. You then have, eventually Virat sort of stepping down. The whole they put all their eggs into the Dan Vittori basket for ages, and it didn't really work. Like the RCB fans have just been through this the whole time, and if you didn't know, if you hadn't seen the memes or the trolling of them, they had acted like this team was like much better and much stronger than it was. While it was, let's be honest, I'm looking for the exact word, a clown show for a long period of time. Like it really struggled to get together and just be professional and do the right things. I'm not, players and coaches and managers. There are various people trying to do the right thing, but it just didn't work for them. And so for me, it's like this is the win for. I'm sure those 4 people that you talked about are huge, but it has been a grim team to follow.
yeah, absolutely, it has been a grim team to follow to a certain degree, and I think in all of these years, in 18 years, probably this is the third, like very, very, very good side that they have. And Virat Kohli said it, and we've been saying it all along, right? It is the bowlers that win you championships, right? It's not your batters. Come at the final, who turned up for RCB? Did the batters turn up? Everyone chipped in the 25s, under 30s, 140 odd. Who turns up? A Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, a Krunal Pandya, a Yash Dayal, a Josh Hazelwood. These are the guys who win you championships. And finally, after a really long time, RCB have actually picked a great bowling unit. I remember as soon as the auction got over, I was hoping for 2 people to be picked in RCB as far as bowling is concerned. And the 2 people was Josh Hazelwood and Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. Because I just felt everyone will look past Bhuvi as a spent entity because of narratives, and he doesn't play for India anymore. But I still think he's an exceptionally high quality bowler, especially under pressure. His calm demeanor, his execution of skills. He might be 5K slower than he used to be, but the effectiveness is still there. The performance under pressure is still there. And you can't take away that death bowling against Shashank Singh tonight. That was just on point, and that took the game completely away from Punjab Kings.
I mean, you talk about the bowlers. It's really fascinating, isn't it? Because my big issue was that they had 3 defensive bowlers. And it was like, how are you going to get wickets on the other end? Krunal Pandya, I don't think has ever taken 17 wickets in an IPL season before. I'd have to check that, but I'm pretty sure that I was asking my team before. Bhuvi hasn't been taking wickets for a long time. Like he's become a defensive bowler. And Hazelwood's had a couple of years, but he's not a consistent wicket taker. He's not a strike bowler in the way that other people are. Like that's 3 pretty big things to go your way, right, in 1 year. And they've all been brilliant in different ways at different times. And I wouldn't say that any of them have been at their absolute best. Like Krunal Pandya, probably wicket taking, but I've seen him be a great defensive bowler before. Bhuvi had years way back when he was incredible. And as good as Josh has been, we just saw again in the final, like he could be hittable at times. But that combination of those 3 allowed them to be a completely different team than they've been for like the entire history of the IPL, right? Like after all these years of just going, well, you need a bowling attack. You need a bowling attack. They're like, okay, we're going to go all in with defensive bowlers. And they've all exceeded expectations.
And Rajat Patidar, man, he's been pretty tremendous. Like, has flown obviously right under the radar because Virat is there and the attention's always going to be on Virat. But he's actually led the team pretty well.
No, definitely. And also, you and I have talked about this sort of stuff forever. There's different kinds of leadership. Like Shubman Gill's going to take over the test team and there's a bit of a gap and you get a chance to sort of push yourself in and make yourself, comfortable in it. It's much harder to be a captain of something when Virat Kohli is in the side and everything in RCB has been run through Virat Kohli for a long period of time. Even the decisions that he doesn't make are made based on what people think he will like, which is part of the problem with that franchise, right? They've been so worried about what he might or might not do or might not like that they haven't even made the right decisions. So to go in and be a young player and captain that, when you're still making your mark and you're not like a big time international player, really, it's a lot of respect from our point of view. And we both like Shreyas Iyer as a tactical captain, but Patidar hasn't stood out in any way, shape or form as being a poor captain all year long, right? Like he's completely held what he has had to do and kept this team together. And I wouldn't say it's a fragile team, but if you think about it, there's a lot of hitters in that team. They could have had a period where a couple of people got out of form in a row, and then you start to panic a little bit, and he's not making as many runs because he didn't have like a great year with the bat himself. He could have got down, he could have worried about things, and instead he's gone the other way all year. And this was maybe one of the few knocks where I was like, this is when he looked like he was in his best form. I was shocked when he went out because he looked like he was finally timing them the way that he had been last year.
And he is a big match player, isn't he? And he did well, I think, even a couple of seasons ago in a big game. I think it was a qualifier game where he got 100, helped them qualify. So he has been a big match player. And something happens to these guys when they turn up and play these big matches. They just kind of switch on and it brings the best out of them. And I think his captaincy has been really, really good. And if you look at the way he's utilized his bowlers, for me, that says a lot. And I think you saw it. And I think a little bit of it went amiss because his batting wasn't coming through. And then Jitesh led for 2 or 3 games. But all in all, I think he's done a phenomenal job.
I'm going to ask you a question. Who is their player of the year?
That's a tough one.
That's my point. And I think that's a really...
I'm going to give it to Josh Hazelwood, though.
It's probably Josh, isn't it? I mean, you probably can't give it to Tim David, who did very, very well, but didn't actually face that many balls. Kohli had a great record. Jitesh is another one that you would look at as well. Phil Salt, when he played, was quite good. Krunal Pandya, because he had the one big knock when he made, 70-odd. And he also takes all of those wickets. But that's the point of when you look at it, it's like, it's not clear cut where you go. And that's one of the big strengths. And if you think about the bad RCB times, it really feels like it's 1 or 2 guys. And then everyone else is like trying to like tread water behind them. This is a proper team, right? And
proper team effort.
You talked about all the support staff, like, Freddie Wild, who was involved with it. Like, Freddie Wild, during this RCB run, I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying this, lost his job. He was the England analyst, and England have decided to move on from him. So he's the analyst at RCB while all this is going on. And, I've had a lot to do with him. This looks like the sort of team that comes from people like Mo Bobat and Freddie Wild and Dinesh Karthik and Andy Flower and these sorts of guys who have been sitting down in a room because this is what you want. You want it to be that there are guys like Shepherd and Jitesh and David who can explode, right? You want it so that there is Livingston can bowl a little bit, when you need him to be able to bowl. Where you've got options, it isn't just one player, where you can bring in someone like Agarwal as what would you say, a high performing role player or whatever that would be.
How about that? Mayank Agarwal, what a great story.
Yeah.
Sitting down at home doing nothing, not been picked in the IPL, led, I think, the last season when he played for Punjab or something like that. Then comes in out of the blue because of Devdutt Padikkal. And two clutch performances, I would say.
Yep. And you look at his career. So he plays 4 games last year. 10 games a year before, 13 and 12. So those were the last 2 major years he's had. His last big year in the IPL is 2021. Like, it's a big call to come back and perform like that. And as you said, when you're not expecting to play and everything else. And I'll throw in another random player as well, which would be Bethnal, right? Bethel, sorry. He comes in. Bethnal Green, which is a tube station, I think. He comes in, and I'm like, you look at him he's been playing as like an anchor sometimes. He plays down the order for teams. And then it's like, no, you're going to bat at the top of the order. Every like little decision that they make, right? Like I really like the seam bowler that they didn't use all that much this year, who I still think can be an interesting one going ahead.
Nuwan Tushara.
Yeah, and the other one, the Indian guy, Rafiq Salam. Like, they moved on from those guys at times when I was like, oh, maybe they need to give them more of a go or whatever. It felt like every single decision just sort of came together like a perfect puzzle, right?
Yeah, it did. And from what I heard also about RCB this year, apparently the mood in the team was very relaxed. Everyone was just really happy. And it was just like, unlike any other year, the camaraderie, the energy in the group was a really happy one, a really buoyant one, and everyone really felt extremely good about themselves and extremely good about just being around the team. And I reckon, when you're happy and when you're feeling secure and you have consistency with the opportunities that come your way and your roles defined, man, you're giving yourself the best chance to be successful. And that's the best you can do in team sport. You give every player the best chance to be successful.